Hey, what's up, everybody? I'm here to give you guys my review of The Walking Dead Season 6, Episode 7, and this episode is called Heads Up, which I thought made sense. And this episode came out on November 22nd, 2015, and really that's all I have to say about that. Not going to go over who directed it or wrote it because that just doesn't matter. Now, this episode I thought was really good. This episode, even though you could say it was probably a filler episode because it's coming on to the mid-season finale, I thought this did a really good job setting a lot of subplots to that episode. Now, was there some things that they completely forgot about and completely dropped the ball with? Absolutely, but I'm going to talk about that when I get there. Let's talk about one of, obviously, like I said, I'm not going to talk about all, the main plot, all the plots scene by scene, because then I'll just be jumping all around in this video. Let's talk about the main thing that came out of this episode. So obviously, since the beginning of season 6, basically, we didn't really know what was going on with Glenn. We didn't know whether he was dead or alive. We found out our answer here. We found out that he was alive. Basically, what happens is they cut back to the scene where Nicholas shoots himself, and obviously they fell off the dumpster, and they showed a different camera angle of what was actually happening, because when before we had seen it, we just assumed that they were both eaten by the walkers and they were both dead. Well, this time around, we got our answer, and our answer was, and this is probably when there would be a drum roll, but because I don't really feel like doing a drum roll, I just want to give an answer. And I just really ruined that dramatic moment, but whatever. We found out that only Nicholas got eaten by the walkers and died. We already knew he died because when you shoot yourself in the head, you're basically dead. So, yeah. But Glenn saved himself. He crawled underneath the dumpster, and basically the walkers kept trying to kill him. He stabbed every one of them, and he just remained absolutely quiet up until they left, which must have been absolutely difficult, but it's not like he had anybody to talk to, so I don't think it was all that difficult. But what was the biggest difficulty out of all of this was obviously the way that that who knows how long those walkers were there. He was obviously very dehydrated, because the second he comes out from underneath that dumpster, he was going for a sip of water. So, yeah. And then Eden shows up, tries to throw him a bottle of water, and then just takes off. Now, obviously, Glenn is looking asking her a ton of questions, like what happened back at Alexandria, and she answers the questions the best she can. But of course, the one question she did not answer was the state of his wife. And then she runs off, and Glenn has to go chase after her. Overall, I know I've been kind of doing this the up-down method. This gets a massive up. I thought this was a hell of a way to kick off the episode, to kind of give a culmination of that story. However, it's also going to get a massive down at the same time, mainly just because this is something that could have been saved for the mid-season finale. I think they really should have saved this about the question whether or not Glenn was dead or alive for the mid-season finale. I get, because obviously what happened towards the end of this episode, they probably have bigger things planned for the mid-season finale, but this was something that I think they could have waited one more episode for. Considering the fact, too, I think the mid-season finale is let me check, I think it's the mid-season finale is only 42 minutes, so... Oh, wait, sorry, I'm looking at the wrong thing. So, I know it's only 44 minutes, but still, this is something that you really could have saved for the mid-season finale. I think this should have been either ended this mid-season finale where we found out where Glenn was alive, or put it in the beginning. Just because I think that would have really left the show with a big cliffhanger. Not a cliffhanger. And then... basically, the whole story is Glenn finds the guy. I don't remember his name off the top of my head because I am just fantastic at remembering names. that got mauled by the zombies in front of the fence, that got bit, that wanted to go home and tell his wife everything, and he finds him as a zombie. He stabs him, and then he finds the note that he wrote to his wife, who I believe was killed by the wolves attack, but I'm not exactly sure. And then Glen finally meets up with Edith, and Edith doesn't want to go back. Obviously, we don't really know why in the beginning. We always had known that she didn't really like to be in the town. So, they kind of play off that more here. She had that three-letter word, JSS, which stands for Just for Survive, somehow written on a check because she was at a restaurant. And Glen doesn't want to leave her behind because that's not something her wife would do, and he wants to do it. And Eden pulls a gun on him and tells him to walk away, and Glen doesn't do so. He says that that he's not going to pull the gun on, she's not going to shoot him, and she didn't shoot him. So then Glen has her lead the way home, and as they're going home, Glen has this big speech about how Edith is too afraid to accept the world as it is. She's afraid that everybody's just been dying around her, and she's trying to live on the lives that have passed away. And Edith doesn't want to hear it. We also found out that Edith takes the balloons that the group had set up for when the walkers are going to pass by. I know this doesn't seem important, but towards the end of the episode, it becomes very important because this distracts the walkers. And then when Glen and Eden went to go home, they find out that they had to rebuild the wall because Rick and some other guy from the town, I don't know his name, were rebuilding the walls. And Eden was just going to walk away from it. She thought it was pointless. Everyone's just going to die anyways. Why prevent it from happening? And Glen then tells her that it is important. It's important to keep that community standing, and you shouldn't be afraid. Then this kind of, led up to a lot. And this obviously leads to something that's going to happen at the end of the episode that I'm going to save to talk about then. But all of this stuff with Glen and Eden gets a massive up. Mainly because I think I was still in shock that Glen was still alive, but I thought it was very well done. However, it probably would have been better hearing this come from Carl, because I thought they had like a little bit of a better relationship, Eden's and Carl. So yeah, I thought that would have been better. Now obviously, another big storyline that kind of came out of this episode, before I get too far, was obviously Maggie was still looking for Glen's signal. She had been waiting up probably every day. Now, the thing I don't know is I don't think the group knows that... I almost messed up the name. That Maggie's pregnant. I think it's only Aaron that knows, just because of the fact that Rick didn't bring it up when they went and talked. I thought that was kind of unique. And yeah, Rick says that they can still buy some time. He says that they still have to come up with a plan for a way that to lure the walkers away, and that there's still hope that Dale, Abraham, Sasha, and Glen are still out there. But they can't wait too long, obviously. And then obviously another storyline that came out of this episode. It was a very mini storyline, so I'm going to kind of give this a down. I know it's probably leading to something bigger, but Rick and the whole group, Rick's group still doesn't trust Gabriel, and I just don't really like Gabriel all that much as a character. He's trying to do prayer circles, and he's just being very religious, and Rick's just not having any of it. That's a down. It was just nothing. So, yeah. But something that does get an up is everything they did with Morgan in this episode. Rick had talked to Morgan, and he said that he wanted to talk to him, and Rick found out that Morgan had released some of those people with the W's on their forehead, the wolves, or the wolves, that attacked Rick in the RV. I'm still going to give a down, by the way, to the fact that we don't know how Rick got out of that RV, because that still doesn't make any sense, so that's just going to get a down. I know that has nothing to do with this episode, but that's still just getting it down. They at least should have explained how Rick was able to get away. And this kind of was a good part of the episode, because Morgan is starting to question himself. Obviously, everything that he learned about Kino, he's starting to kind of have like a little bit of a rocky relationship with it, because he realized he still wants to maintain by that status that all life is precious and that nobody should die. And he even brought up that fact up to Rick, that when Morgan was about to kill him, Rick didn't kill him, and Rick says that's because I knew who you were, but Morgan says that he wasn't in a good place then, and he would have just murdered him right then and there. Then what happened is, if he had, and Rick, he reveals that if Rick had killed him, Dale and Aaron would be dead, and they wouldn't be at Alexandria. Obviously, there would have been some more problems that would have happened, but and Morgan says he still wants to live by that quota. He still wants to live that all life is precious, but he realizes that that's not the way to live if you're going to live in this type of world. Michonne keeps telling him that. Carol keeps telling him that. And I thought that was a really good part of the storyline. That Morgan's kind of starting to question in this philosophy of life that he chose to live. And how you can't really live by this way. What I expected Morgan to retaliate was he knew someone that lived by this way and still survived fine. But so I thought he was going to win that up. And then he keeps continuously going over to Denise because and he doesn't really mention why at first. And then we found out that Denise has been writing down cheat sheets about how to be a doctor. And we found out that Morgan has been looking for ways to try to find a cure for an infection. And Denise tells him how to. And Morgan says that this is not for his infection. And obviously, then he reveals that it was for the guy that he had locked up in episode 4 of The Walking Dead. So he didn't want to try to get her involved, but he did anyways. And then Carol finds them sneaking off to go into the jail cell. Carol leaves, Judith with Deanna. What I am going to give it down was everything they kind of did with Sam and Carol. I get that we're trying to kind of build to a story, but that just kind of felt like filler and didn't really feel like it was really needed in the episode, so that's going to get it down. They were kind of talking about more stuff about how to survive in the Walking Dead world, and it just didn't really, it just came across as filler. That was just really weak. Then basically Carol had gone up to Morgan and asked what Morgan was doing in there, and we didn't really see anything. That I loved. Like I said, I love everything they did with Morgan this episode. I kind of like how they're saving that. It's a plot device. You got to have plot devices, and I thought that was a good plot device. And then obviously, another plot device they built up to for the next episode was Juan's learning how to defend himself. He's learning how to use a gun. But it's not for the reason we think it is. So basically what happens is he sneaks into the weaponry room and takes a gun, and we basically are supposed to believe that he's going to do something to Carl and kill him, because he had gone to Carl and while he was walked behind Carl and went for his gun, but we didn't see anything come of it. What is going to get it down was it really didn't make any sense that then later on in the episode, Carl was just walking away from him all fine. Nothing happened of it. So obviously I get the trying to build through a plot device, but obviously there was something that happened at the end of the episode where Carl and Ron were just completely off in their separate ways. That's stupid. Down. I know I'm kind of being very nitpicky, but that's kind of important. I feel like if what happened at the end of the episode, they should not have shown Carl, because then that kind of just didn't really work. Obviously, another thing that's going to get, an up was it's really good to see that Diana, they're both basically the same names, is finally starting to have some hope for Alexandria. It's really good to see that she's finally in a better place. Now, because I'm a human being, I'm giving it up. It was really nice to see that she's in a better place, and obviously she still has some plans for Alexandria after this whole zombie thing is over, which I expect her enthusiasm to be completely murdered in the next episode. I mean, it's going to get destroyed, so forget that. So, but still, up, there was a scene where Spencer tried to go out, and Rick had revealed this plan where he was going to have his group all go out, and he just only revealed it to Michonne. and lure the walkers away with another call. And then he only wanted his group to know about it because, Rick, because he didn't want to put the other group in danger. But Marshawn's like, but aren't we supposed to fight together? You can't keep these group people away from each other. And then obviously, I think Spencer had heard this plan and was going to try to take credit for him himself, because I think he wants his mom's recognition and his mom's approval, and he wants to kind of lead this group. But it failed because the grappling hook broke, and he almost got murdered. Tara tried to shoot at everybody, while all the zombies and stuff, and save him, and then they were able to save him. And yeah, it's good. It was kind of dumb for him to do that. I get what he was trying to do, but it obviously served a better purpose. And then Rick just kind of goes off on Tara for doing that stupid decision, almost getting herself killed. He's like, you tried this before, don't try this again. Now, obviously, I'm just going to give that a down when he said that quote, because I don't really recall a time when Taylor tried to almost murder herself before. I really don't know. Maybe I missed that part. Maybe it's just something I don't remember, but I don't recall Taylor almost killing herself. The only time I could come up with was when they invaded the prison back in season 4, but I don't really recall another time they went to do that. So that's just going to get it down. And then obviously Rick apologized to her. Taylor revealed that she just kind of thought in the moment. And Rick thought what she meant by that was that she wanted to die, but then Rick wasn't happy that she just did this on the fly. And then Deanna comes over and thanks Rick, and Rick reveals to Deanna that, or Diana, I don't really know, Diana, but they're both the same name. Down. You know what is going to get it down? That Deanna and Diana, they have to be a Deanna and a Diana. Why can't there just be more names that I don't have, less names I have to remember? Why can't we just have like a different name? Down. Kind of a dumb reason to give it down, but it's getting a down. But anyhow, then Rick says that he saved Spencer because it's her son, because she asked him why, and she said wrong answer. So, don't really know what that means. And then the episode finally ended off. I'm trying to think if there was anything else important that I need to go through, because I think I went through everything. I just want to make sure I don't forget nothing. I kind of did talk. Oh, there was one thing I forgot. Up for Rosita's speech on Eugene. How Eugene's afraid to kill people because he's kind of a coward. And Rosita goes off on him, saying that you shouldn't be afraid to die. You should be afraid to live, because then you have to know that you caused the other people to die. Massive up. That was a great speech, and it was great. So, up. I think that's also lead into another plot device. And then obviously, then the episode finally ends when the Glenn finally sends a signal. The signal was the balloon. He sends Eden's backpack up, and Maggie sees it, so she's all happy about this. And then the building falls over. So obviously this means trouble when it comes to Alexandria, because now the walkers are going to be able to break through, and we don't actually see the building fall. It just kind of ended. And overall, I like the ending. I thought the ending kind of ended with a bang. It kind of ended with, a hook. So I liked that. Up. And overall, I thought this episode was really good. I'm going to give it a 7.5 out of 10. I think definitely what made this episode was the beginning and the end. I think they kicked off with a bang, but obviously everything else was just mainly subplots to kind of set up to episode 8, the mid-season finale. But I'm okay with that. I'm alright with that, actually. Like I said, Walking Dead's going to have those good episodes. They're going to have those bad. They're going to have those kind of in-between episodes. This episode, I thought served a purpose. I thought this episode was really good because it built up so many subplots that I think by the next episode, or at least in the season finale, we're going to get kind of like, kind of the end, the culmination of these subplots. I'm really looking forward to watching the mid-season finale. I'm going to watch it right after I upload this video. But I'm actually excited that I've started watching the show again. This gets a massive, massive, massive up. Now, obviously, like I said, this episode had its downs, but I think the ups overweighed the downs. I still wish they would have saved Glenn coming back until the mid-season finale. I think that would have made more of an impact. But maybe they got something bigger planned for the mid-season finale. So overall, this was a really good episode. 7.5 out of 10. And yeah, I enjoyed it. I actually want to give another quick down, by the way, to Juan's character. That character needs a lot of work. He just sucks as a character. I don't know if it's the actor. I don't know if it's the character. Because sometimes what happens in movies and TV shows is sometimes you get that great... sometimes there's an actor that just can't play the character really well. Or sometimes this is just great actor, but if the character's shit, you can't make the character work. So I still haven't kind of figured out what's going on. I think it's definitely more so the first one. Or actually it's both. The actor sucks, and then obviously the character sucks. I think it's more so the first one. I just think this actor isn't a very good actor, but he's also young. I mean, you kind of have to kind of, you know, excuse that a little bit, but it's still the first one. I think this character probably should be good, but it's the actor that just can't play it off. So that's, I think, what's going on here. Overall, I'm going to end this video off. I'm going to try to see if I can upload the mid-season finale either in like an hour or before the end of the night. But if I can't, I'll definitely upload it tomorrow. But I'm going to watch it, and yeah, hopefully hopefully that it's a really good mid-season finale. So let's just get right into that.